Hey. Okay, let's get going with number 4. Let's talk about preschool. So this is also, this is kind of a hard grouping to make because I've said before, we believe in delayed education. No, that's not really the delayed schooling, right? So where we're requiring, when we require certain things to be done, right? We have decided to let our kids wait for them to start showing interest in learning to read and things like that before we really make them do a bunch of stuff. So this preschool, what I'm talking about is really, I would say until your kids are asking to sit down and do school time. So that's kind of the age range. I mean, because really some kids at 4, at 3 are desperate for more stuff to do, right? And some kids really aren't. Some kids take a lot longer to get to that place. And we found with our family that I found reading and potty training are very similar. You know, and I know there's a lot of views on potty training, just like there are on reading. But I found for our family, when I wait for a child to be ready, so when they can pull their pants down and up themselves, when they don't like being wet, like it bothers them to have a poopy diaper, when they can tell me that they need to go to the bathroom, when those things are happening, we could do this, right? Like when I know they want to do it, when I see them in the bathroom or following a sibling and trying to do it themselves, then we can potty train it. And potty training goes so fast. So I'm not saying before that, we're in the bathroom and we're talking about the toilet and we're introducing these subjects to them, right? But we're not making them sit on the toilet. We're not trying to get them to stay dry before they're ready. Otherwise, we end up just having a giant battle and the kids being frustrated, the parents being frustrated. It's a bad situation all around, right? But I found with my kids, when I wait, and we're still reading, right? We love reading. We love going to the bathroom. We're reading together all the time. We're loving books. We're doing these things. We're playing games and things and learning the ABCs and their sounds. And we're doing some things, right? But we're not like, you have to learn how to read. Like, you're 6 now. You should be reading. Everybody else, the other kids that go to school are reading. We don't want to shit on our kids, right? We don't want to be doing that. So we found that when we've waited for those kids, their confidence grows, right? They didn't get stuck with any of these feelings like I'm a slow learner, I'm bad at this or whatever. And I have a child right now who's a little older. She's 7.5, and she's still not a great reader, and she really fights it. Though there are times when she doesn't fight it. But her personality is one also where she just doesn't want to do anything unless it's her idea. So we kind of have to work on that, you know? There's always an exception to the rule, right? Like, this is what I think works great, and it's worked great with some of my kids, but then I have others that it's like they need a little more pushing than others. So you have to fill it out, but I just know when I look back at my 5-year-old son, no, he's 13 now. When he was 5, I was trying to get him to do a bunch of school stuff. And he was just in tears, and the handwriting stuff, he just wasn't ready for those things, you know. We could play games all day. He would sit on my lap all day and read, and that wasn't good enough for me, and I'm really sad that it wasn't, you know. We could have really embraced that differently. So these are my thoughts on preschool, and I'm going to give you some actual curriculum things that we've used and liked. But yeah. Okay, so a lot of things, there's so many things out there marketed for us, right? Everybody says we need to buy these puppets, and we need to buy this fake money, and we need to buy all these puzzles, and we need to buy all this stuff, right? For our kids to have this great preschool education. Okay, so just always remember about these tools, that they're great tools, but a lot of them were created for a daycare or something like that. Give your kids real money. Give them the change jar. Have them learn about money with real money. They love it, right? Have them do little problems and have them sort your money and I find whenever we can make school real, it's so much better. Okay, I just shouldn't say school. Whenever we can make learning a real thing, it helps, because how many times do our kids say, well, when am I ever going to use this? Well, when you go to the store and we only have this much budgeted and we need to buy this much stuff, and is it going to work? It's really amazing when we can do that. So, have them buy their own stuff at the store, have them buy your stuff at the store, and make sure they get the right change back. Doing things like that really helps. But you don't need a fake kitchen. Let them cook with you. There's so many of those things that we get swamped in, and it's fun to have. I love the stuff. I really love the stuff. I love the curriculum. I love the books. I love the toys, but then you just start drowning in it all, right? So finding your balance. Now this whole better late than early, there's several books on it, but really I feel like it really comes down to your child. Right? Some kids are begging for things when other kids just aren't ready yet. And, but I would research this yourself, because it is amazing, what kids can learn when they're given their own time to learn it. Okay. Sorry. I keep skipping around, and then I'm like, I forgot to cover that. Okay, so some curriculum things I do like, though. 5 in a Row. Now, this is a book. It's not even in print anymore, sadly, because somebody needs to remake this or make a new one. That would be great. If somebody's looking for a business, that'd be a good one. People love it. The books that they tell you to read are wonderful, and it's basically reading this one book, and you read it 5 days in a row, and it's different activities to go with it. So if you're looking for some sort of guidance, but you don't want to have a whole bunch of stuff that you have to do with your kids, that you don't feel pressured to, but you want to do something and you just don't know what, the 5 in a Row program is really fantastic. Also, there's a website called 1 + 1 + 1 = 1. This I love this website. She does way more than I would encourage anyone to do with their kids. Like, it's a lot of busy work. If your kids like it, they do it, But if your kids are like, oh, I hate this, like, let them be free to get bored and find some stuff. But her toy lists and she has a lot of amazing stuff on that website. Like, you could just be busy for days just from what she has. So those are some great things. We play a lot of games, and I'm going to do the next video just about games and education. But really, if you made a goal, 20 minutes a day that you're going to read with your child, like, that's bare minimum. Like, maybe make it 3 chunks of 20 minutes a day that you're reading to them. If all you did was that, took them outside, went on a nature walk, went to the library story time, had your Bible reading time, worked on a memory verse, join Awana. Oh my gosh, Awana is such a blessing to us. My oldest daughter, I think she learned how to read. A lot of it was to do with her Awana Cubby's book and memorizing those verses and seeing those same things over and over. It really helped it click for her. But use those tools. You don't need to be stressed out. You don't need to spend tons of time sitting at the table doing handwriting stuff, right? Like, there's so many things that they can learn. You need to work on those fine motor skills and the gross motor skills. I mean, put a piece of tape on the floor and have them, walk across it like a balance beam. There's so many amazing things you can do. Pinterest is full of them. But don't stress out. And it's hard to not play the comparison game and say, well, what are those kids learning over there? It can be difficult. I would say stop looking, find homeschool friends, and it's going to look different too. What your oldest child does in preschool time and what number 5 does during preschool time, it's going to be a really big difference. Just because of the chaos that's going around their family, right? Like, a younger child is, in my home, those kids are playing with their siblings a lot during our school time, and they're not wanting to the table. But when you have an only child, they're much more willing, like, hey, let's hang out, and they want to play with you. And if play looks like school, then they're totally up for it, So it's going to look different. Don't feel bad about that. That's just life, right? Yeah. So those are my main thoughts on preschool. Have fun with it. It's an amazing. Sorry, I'm getting messages and stuff. Okay, sorry. Preschool is awesome. Don't stress out. Don't stress out about any of it, really. When it's their time, stuff just clicks, and the science says that their minds are working on things so much. Like there's just so much going on in their mind. Give them a lot of sleep and a lot of free time. I really like for my kids do not say I'm bored. I've never heard that from them. Okay. Don't think that all kids say that or all kids, yeah, it's not a real thing for all families. My kids like they go play outside or they read or they draw, they make something, you know, and I think if you can just have a few toys, I mean, I'm definitely becoming more and more minimalist as I get older and have more kids. We have less toys. It's really true. It's amazing what kids can do and what they can create when you give them that time freedom. There's another book that I really love. There's another book I really love talking about preschool time. Well, it talks about, I like it more for early elementary, project-based learning. That's the name of it. It's a fantastic book. I really, really love that book. Some great ideas in it, and I'll put that in our notes. But, okay, next video I'm going to make is about games and education. I adore games and education, and I have a lot of little tips and tricks I want to share with you. Just some fun things that are like free and easy that we do, and I think will be a blessing to you. So, be back soon.